So it's snowing, and of course my car can't make it up the long residential street to the house at the very top of the hill. After several attempts, I had to walk about 2 blocks of the snowy road. Got to the large, normal-looking house, rang the bell. No answer, but I heard a guy yelling at someone inside. Knock, ring, no answer, still yelling, but it's obvious he's yelling at someone on the phone. I could see that the door I'm at goes into a small mudroom with the door to the house inside. I decided to step into the mudroom and knock on the inner door. This guy finally opened the door and is like, "What do you want?" "I'm wearing a uniform and holding a pizza delivery bag. What the hell do you think I want?" Guy was middle-aged with a mustache, and he had blood coming from a cut on his eyebrow, a cut on his lip, and blood coming from his nose. And his knuckles are all torn up. Great. Dude just got in a fight. I can see past him, and there's a half-empty bottle of Jack Daniels chilling on the coffee table. "I didn't order a pizza. It's probably John's." Then the guy turned, went back in the living room, and sat down to take another swig of Jack. "Is John here?" I asked. "He's upstairs." The guy pointed to a staircase just inside the door on the left. "Alright, I guess I'll give the pizza to John since this drunk ain't gonna do anything." I took no more than 2 steps up those stairs and thought, forget this. I immediately backpedaled, went out the front door into the mudroom, left the house, and walked back to my car. I didn't call John because at that point I was so pissed about getting stuck in the snow, walking uphill through the snow, waiting a while. I figured if John wanted his damn pizza, he could call back or come pick it up. John never called to ask where his pizza was, and that made me more sketched out about the whole situation. I was delivering to a hospital one night, and I went in the doors that were on the delivery description. I wound up at a check-in desk where no one was around. Behind me were several recovery rooms, all with lights out. I looked around for anyone who might have placed the order, but ended up just hanging at the desk for a few more minutes. From the room directly to my right, I could hear a sad, weak voice say, "I just wanted to go home." I turned and saw a man with several tubes in and out of him. His lamp was faintly lit. He was locking eyes with me. At that moment, the person who ordered showed up at the desk, and we did the little pizza exchange. As I turned around to leave, I looked into the room where the guy with the tubes was, and there was no one there. No light on, no tubes. No sign that anyone had ever used that bed. I made sure it was the correct room by pretending to forget where the exit door was. I examined a few of the rooms near. All of them were empty. About 12 years ago, in a suburb of Baton Rouge, there was a suspected serial killer on the loose. The running joke in our store was that it was one of us because the murders were happening in and around our delivery area. There was a seedy motel by a remote industrial complex right off the highway. Everyone hated having to deliver there because it was mostly truck drivers, pimps, prostitutes, and druggies, and none of them tipped. I got stuck going there around 11 p.m. on a Friday night. As I approached the room, I could see the door was open slightly. I knocked and said hello, and there was no answer. Through the crack, I could see a person sitting, so I nudged the door open a little. It was a frumpy, middle-aged naked woman tied to the chair, blindfolded and gagged. She nodded as if to acknowledge my presence and turned her head in the direction of the nightstand. There was a note and some money on it. I scanned the room and didn't see any sign of anyone else. I read the note and it was something to the effect of, "This is our 20th anniversary and this was my fantasy. Please look all you want, but don't touch. And keep the change. P.S. My husband is hiding and watching, so don't try anything. There was a $20 tip. I thought for sure this was the last delivery I'd ever be making. I snatched the money and left the pizzas on the bed and backed out slowly. I have never been more creeped out in my life. Fortunately, there was no murder at that hotel that night.